Times have changed. They were so close and they know it. Listen, we're going to watch this video. We'll do a little bit of analysis. Then I'll read a little bit from the article and give you my thoughts on that. But the article is titled Legacy Systems. Listen to how this sounds. Legacy systems versus digital demands. The B2B payments dilemma. This whole article is telling you every aspect of how they're behind and why they need digital technologies. What's digital? DLT. They still haven't caught up. And you know what's mind-blowing about this? And it tells me that they've been waiting on DLT to do all the work for them. I told you these businesses are lazy and the bulk of them are behind. But wait, let's listen to this because they're going to tell you. They may use different verbiage than I'm using, but they're telling you. And that's trillions, folks. You understand that? That's trillions of dollars on the table. They're admitting they need this technology at the same time as crypto's being unleashed. Now, I'm going to push play here. Hopefully I have it loud enough for you to hear. Okay. I hope it's loud enough. Let me turn it all the way up.
Because the payable space of today, it's hardly recognizable compared to what it was 2 decades ago. Maybe even more change in the past 2 years than the past 20 in many ways.
More has changed. Why? More has changed in the last 2 years than it has in the last, what did he say, 20? Let's go back a little bit, just a little bit. Bear with me, just a little bit.
2 decades ago. Maybe even more change in the past 2 years than the past 20 in many ways.
More has changed in the last 2 years than in the last 20. What has been the change? Huh? What was the change? The only significant change that happened is their experimentation with bank coin technology, DLT technology. That's it. Which they even clarify that in a multitude of these articles coming out about B2B. And they gotten quiet on the B2B. Don't let them be quiet on the B2B. Search it out, seek it out. That's trillions of dollars. Right on the side of interbank payments and RWA. That's huge. Let's keep going.
But many businesses, they haven't fully appreciated kind of what exactly is out there for them with all this new tech.
They haven't appreciated what's out there for them. Why is he saying that? What did we read recently? They're telling you. Now, not a lot of people are listening. What he means by they haven't appreciated it. They haven't gotten on board yet. That corroborates the huge percentage of businesses that remain that haven't jumped in yet. That means that's what I see or what I hear when I hear that is there is an ocean of capital that hasn't entered DLT just yet. Digital. Just yet. If there is an ocean of capital that's still yet to be integrated into the system, brought in, then that can make the prices explode. You understand? I mean, I don't want to oversimplify things, but I think that's clear. But that's what he's talking about. The same thing all those other articles said. He's confirming it. Now this is serious business. He's talking to an individual named Holly, my apologies, Holly Tennant, who is the director, B2B payment solutions and card product management of Bank of America. Bank of America has been getting out there lately, right? They've been doing a lot of interviews, putting out a lot of information. But why? What does Bank of America love, folks? Tell me. They love XRP. Yeah, no. They've literally said it multiple times. They love the XRPL technology. What did Bank of America test out multiple times years ago? Huh? They tested out XRP. Okay, so if we're going to use deductive or inductive reasoning, either way, you arrive at the same conclusion that when Bank of America is speaking about digital, that XRP and the XRPL or some other bank coin, because they did, even though that information got buried, but some of you screenshotted it, you saved it. There was another one that they did use to win a contest, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But that when they're speaking, that at least at the forefront of their mind, if they had a top 3 or top 5 DLT technology companies or cryptos, bank coin, blockchains, in their mind when they're speaking, XRPL, Ripple, XRP has to be in that group, has to be at the forefront, period. or else Bank of America, amidst many other banks, amongst many other banks, wouldn't have been speaking about XRP so much, praising it. They're one of the few that has been praising it consistently, even when the technology wasn't getting the green light. So what do you think is going to happen now? Another thing. Keep your eye on Bank of America. They're going to now. They present themselves with this bounteous confidence, but they're in a bad position. Go look at the Bank of America news. They need it. They need the technology now as well. They do. That's why we saw these articles come out recently where they're talking about accounts. You don't have to worry about accounts or sitting capital in accounts if you're doing well. You don't. They need the money that's going to be saved from DOT. They need to be reallocating massive amounts of capital. They can only do that through the bank coins. And once again, what is the bank coin they praise the most? You think they forgot? I'd say think again. Let's push play.
Technology. From your perspective, working both with those businesses and kind of, pushing forward that, frontier of innovation in the space, what do you see as the reason, there's kind of that education gap?
Thanks for the question. As you mentioned, I lead our strategy for how we help clients with their accounts payable automation goals, really across our corporate solutions. And if I think about past success, that was predominantly driven by resources and having a focus, despite manual processes or headwinds that would otherwise impact clients today. So if you think about pre-COVID times, businesses often adopted payment automation in parts. So just focusing on virtual card as an example.
Folks, did you hear that? Okay. She's saying that as a contrasting thought. You can tell by how she presented it. A contrasting thought. But she leaves it open-ended for you to infer. So if in the past, the negative was that they wanted to adopt a sort of, and it's not automated, it's semi-automated. Let's make that clear. We haven't achieved full automation just yet, but semi-automation. But they were trying to achieve semi-automation piece by piece in a piecemeal way, if I can use that verbiage here, and it didn't work. Read the article. The article goes in depth. It didn't work. So what does that mean? They need a technology right now. Sorry about that. I'm a little excited. It's not often we get this type of information, but what it means is they now need a technology where it does everything all at once, because they have found that doing things step by step, piece by piece, little by little, it doesn't get the job done. Number one, businesses are so lazy that they just kind of just give up on it. The entire process starts to slow down to a point where it's crawling so slowly that it's going to take forever for the entirety of the technology to be implemented. And they don't want that anymore. They want everything right now, full automation right now. The only way you can do that or get close to it is through DLT, smart contracts, AI. That's the only way. That combo right there, that's the only way. That means there's a flood of capital coming. Let's keep going.
And businesses' needs have adapted and really forced to adapt as a result of 5 years ago. So when we think about today's clients or corporations and where their focus is, they're really focused on operational process improvements, automation of their accounts payable processes.
She's making my goodness, all the words in my brain just got jumbled together. She's making sure to emphasize automation. There's a new day. I told you. Now you're hearing it from them. This is a representative of a bank talking about B2B, a major bank. Folks, it's not just the big businesses. I'm telling you, take a look at what was with semi-automation. Folks, people are making so much capital online with taking their brick and mortar stores, things they sell there, and putting it online, having semi-automated services, selling it globally now with a little bit of friction there. Not much, But all friction is going to be removed, and everyone in the future is going to have the opportunity, if they should utilize such, to sell globally with as little friction and as little fees as possible. If that indeed is achieved, more money than ever is going to be made. Now, whether the small and medium-sized businesses realize that, we have to wait and see. But I think because of the struggles of small and medium-sized businesses, that they will have no other choice but to come around and jump on this technology. They better. If they want to thrive, they better. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. Now, the big businesses, they already know what's about to happen. That's why there's this major push going on. So when you're talking technology like Ripples, Hedera's, Chainlink, Cardano, which we're going to get to a little bit later. Hopefully we make it to that article. That's why they're making this big push with partnerships, deals. Global reach is a thing. Because once it kicks off, there's going to be so much value flowing around. I mean, in the beginning, that's where the most value is going to be grabbed. The most power is going to be grabbed. After that, it's just crumbs on the table. So everyone's getting in position right now. There's a true golden age coming. It's bigger than just crypto, but crypto is right at the forefront of it. DLT technology is right at the forefront of it. Bank coins. Well, let's keep going.
And ultimately fraud mitigation, which has shifted that dynamic from I'll say disparate or payment automation in parts.
Pause. She's cooking. There's some people, they're just talking and their words are just filled with hot air. She's dropping a lot. It's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. She's dropping a lot. Now, fraud mitigation. That all goes right along with transparency. They want transparency. Listen, neither businesses, regular businesses, nor any type of bank can afford what's been going on anymore. Too much money going missing. Have you seen all the articles that came out lately of the bank employees just draining people's accounts? Folks, not financial advice, do what you want to do. But if someone has capital sitting in a bank account and they thought it was safe and you haven't checked on it because it's with the bank, they better check. Because lately they've been reporting on these banks a lot of problems. I'm just going to say that. A lot of problems, which they can't sustain that anymore. Their reputations are taking hits. The regular people are learning about it. They're running from the banks to other alternatives. So in order to stop that, they have to have something like smart contracts or AI checking things consistently, constantly to make sure that everyone's capital is going where it's supposed to be. It is where it's supposed to be. And everyone who's involved is doing what they're supposed to do. They need that. DLT is going to bring it. And at a cheaper rate than the legacy system can provide. At a more efficient clip than the legacy system can provide. Simple as that. With global reach.
Into a more holistic AP automation end-to-end solution.
Totally. And, what are some of the obstacles preventing wider adoption of new technologies within payables? Is it that, the water levels, there's a different investment across different areas, or is it something else? What are you seeing?
A little of everything. I would argue that in the U.S., we absolutely still have a paper problem.
Boom. Wait, one more time. This individual is named Holly Tennant. I'm saying that more for myself so I can remember. See, if I repeat something enough times, I remember it. That's how my father used to taught me how to remember things. This person, she's cooking. She's cooking. She just admitted the U.S. Trillions, folks. It gets me excited. That's why I'm here for that bank money. Trillions that the U.S. has a paper problem with all the technology. Everybody praising U.S. technology. No disrespect. They have a paper problem. She didn't waste time talking about the globe. We will take the globe also. Nope, let's go right here to U.S. because if the U.S. has this problem, everyone else does as well. And they do. Look, these legacy systems are about to come out of the literal Stone Age, if you will, and they're about to become fully digital over the next few years. That's a flood of capital, flood of value, new partnerships. Everything that moves across the chain affects the price. That's what David Schwartz said. Let's just do a little bit more because then I have to move on to these other articles. Let them talk.
We also have integration challenges that have hindered kind of growth in the B2B space. And really that comes down to two main reasons: antiquated technology systems, but also resources.
We solve all of that. Antiquated tech. And you have the DLT technology, which this is why they not only simplify things, they oversimplify things. Some of these things you can deploy with just a single line of code. So the integration is very, very easy, very easy. The companies do all the heavy lifting, which will make it very easy to sweep the table. That means take everything off that table as far as business and capital. This will be easy if they go about it the correct way. Antiquated, and then the other part, you see all the barriers being removed. Anything that could stand in blockchain's way is being removed. So a little bit more. Let's go a little bit more.
Say it's for a lack of investment in technology, though. Businesses.
We're going to stop right there. A lack of investment. Why? The only reason that happened is because of all the different regulatory hurdles over the last few years. That's the only reason why. You see how now that some of those hurdles have been removed, all of these entities from states to businesses are going absolutely out of their minds, talking about DLT, trying to get some crypto to make value just off the raw crypto, talking about the implementation of the technology, all of this stuff. Now they want to increase massively digital gold. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin. They're talking about stable coins. All type. You see how that shows the desire was always there for the technology. It was only the regulatory environment holding things back. And now that that's changed, there's not going to be any holding back. Now investments will flood in. Just give it a little bit more time. We have a few more steps to get through. Of course, we didn't expect everything to happen overnight, but it's definitely happening very, very quickly. Investments will be rapid over the next year or two, in my humble opinion. We'll have to see, but that's how it's looking as of right now. So I'm going to stop that right there. Let me see. We have 17 minutes. I had a few Bitcoin articles. Let's go here. We're going to squeeze a little bit of Bitcoin in. But as always, I encourage you, if you have the time to go, you can go watch that video yourself or the rest of it. Very good video. Also read the article. All right. Very good information. That's the only reason I would tell you. I don't know these companies. They're just media companies. I just peruse and do searches and look for certain things. So you can partake in that if you like, or if you don't want to, that's okay as well. So now, this article is titled, quote unquote, almost over. Macro guru Raoul Pal hints at imminent Bitcoin rallies, multiple imminent Bitcoin rallies, rising global liquidity. Let's find out what he's saying here. Now, just because someone says something, even myself, doesn't mean it's true or it's going to happen or you have to believe it. No, not at all. But we take in this information so that we have a multitude of sources and then we make up our own minds about where things are going. I think that's the best position to be in when you have a multitude of sources and then you can sort of take the average of that. I think that's a little bit safer. But we're always collecting information because change is the only constant. Now it says here, former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal believes that it's almost time for Bitcoin to ignite the next phase of its uptrend. The macro guru shares a chart suggesting that global M2, or total money supply across the world, so he's looking globally. All right, let's make sure we highlight that. Globally has sharply risen after carving a bottom in late 2024. Based on the data, Powell predicts that Bitcoin will soon end its correction and begin sparking fresh rallies. Quote, the waiting game is almost over. The 10-week lead is my preferred. So he's looking at global M2 10-week lead. Okay. I see what he's talking about here. It says, while Powell thinks that BTC rallies are imminent, he points out that Global Macro Investors head of macro research, Julian Biddle, believes Bitcoin trails the global M2 metric by 12 weeks. According to Biddle, Bitcoin will carve a local bottom this week before moving, quote, higher again, unquote. Earlier this month, Powell predicted that the global M2 will continue to rise while Bitcoin and crypto witness a, quote, regular correction, unquote. We shall see. Quote, this too shall pass. I love when they talk like that. It's just interesting. Crypto is still feeling the tightening in liquidity from the stronger dollar and higher rates in Q4. Listen, hold on, let me pause for a second. I need a little bit more clarification on data. You can't just show me one chart because I've looked at global M2 before. I've looked at, charts with more specificity than this. And you give me something so obtuse such as this, it doesn't tell the entire story. Now, I was reading articles recently where once again, there was a lot of debt people were dealing with, a lot of credit cards, people still running them up. So I haven't like I said, just because I'm seeing that information doesn't mean it's the be all end all. There's a lot that I probably do not see. So I have to take that into account as well. But at this time, I can only speak on what I know. That's something I would be careful of. Now, globally, I think that's more pressing in the US. All right. In the US, I don't know. It looks like people are still trying to dig themselves out of a hole. I'm going to say that right now. Majorly, not everyone, not you, but like a lot of individuals. Yes, they're still maxing out credit cards. Like I said, I would like to see the updated information on savings accounts. We shall see. We'll keep our eyes open. But could that be a catalyst? Yes. If people are indeed, and that could be a result of harsh times where people are saving a little bit more capital. We shall see. We shall see. There's so many thoughts I have. I'm thinking about money market funds. I'm thinking about cash sweep accounts. What do people have there? I'm thinking about what do people have stored in crypto? Then also what's happening with the people that were reported as there was a massive amount of people that do not trust the banks that were being reported as pulling their money to just cash right out the bank. And I guess they're keeping it at home. I don't know. But that's what was reported. So what's happening with that? So now, and then, of course, there's always a difficulty there. I wish stores, maybe there was some information on how much physical capital is going around in the U.S. in particular at stores. Like, is there more of that being seen? Because then if it is, then we can make some calculations. But I haven't seen that information. Let's go here. We'll end off with this little bit. This article is titled, Arthur Hayes says Bitcoin primed to skyrocket to a, quote, numerically interesting number, unquote, before market hits top. Why are they? See, this is why I find interesting. Why are they all coming out right now? Why not one last week and then this one this week? Why do they always do this? Multiples of these individuals, these type of individuals, come out at the same time sounding bullish. It just, I don't know. It's like they know, it's either, do you know something that we don't, a catalyst that you know that has been actuated upon or is about to kick in, so that is, that insider information, no disrespect, is causing you to come out with this zeal about the moment that's about to occur. One, or is it a setup and you're just, maybe misleading the people, so you all come out thinking you're going to have this influence and say, oh, Bitcoin's bullish right now altogether. Personally, I think Bitcoin's bullish long term. I do. But others may not feel that way. Maybe they know of a dip or a correction that's coming, and I don't know. I think about these things. I think that's balance. One was positive, one was negative, right? But I consider that there's something interesting there about them always coming out at the same time. Multitude of these types of people. BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes says that Bitcoin will likely hit a massive value before the current market cycle peaks. I can agree with that. I believe that. Yes. Is it a guarantee? No, but I think that there's a high percentage of possibility that does happen. All the catalysts are just too major for Bitcoin to stay where it is or for its ceiling to be where we saw it go before. There's no way. There's just absolutely no way. It says, I think Bitcoin is going to hit a numerically interesting number. But he's saying he hopes it hits $1 million. But maybe, and I'll give you the bottom number. His bottom number is $250,000. What do you think about that? So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.